to find any video you want. Absolutely anything you want. A cat video, music video, anything. Something from Japan will work best, however. Step number 2. Be careful down there, boss. Click on the strangest related video.
We can use
The absolute most mind-blowing looking thumbnail or title
using new weapons and equipment. Take a look at the plans list on your iDroid to
Step
see which
number
ones
3.
we need. Then go find them if
Continue
you get the
step number
chance.
2 until the
It'll
most
keep the staff
liked
happy,
comment
too.
is, "I'm in the weird side of YouTube again," or something along those lines. Now, this alone isn't all that scary.
The wormwood.
It's mostly
also
just
known
funny.
as absinthium. That's used to make
You
your
can laugh at
phantoms
failed
dodge.
ads or absurd stuff from different cultures. But sometimes, it gets scarier. A dancing girl with no arms or legs. Someone with a bunch of tattoos eating fistfuls of glass. A crazed hillbilly ranting about how the government will kill everyone. Soon. It gets stranger still. Dig deep enough and you can actually find death. I don't mean like news stories on people getting killed. I mean full-on amateur snuff films. No After Effects, no CGI. Real people getting murdered. You're wondering why YouTube wouldn't just take them down, aren't you? Well, there are 2 reasons for this. First, there are days worth of videos being uploaded every minute. So much that it just can't be analyzed by the YouTube staff. They try to take down anything pornographic that isn't art first. But even that stuff slips through from time to time. Second, money. YouTube only pays attention to the stuff that pays, is protected by copyright, or gets a large amount of views in a short amount of time. That last one is the reason for the 301 views phenomenon.
You've arrived at the objective. Your target should be somewhere in that outpost.
Due to these reasons, there are plenty of people who can easily upload almost
Keep your guard up.
unnoticed videos. Some of them are truly unnoticed, with only 2 or 3 views. There are a ton of these amateur snuff films that just require a little while of searching. So give it a try for a few hours. But just be warned,
Is that him? Take a good look
You
at
might
their
not
faces so we
hate
can ID the target.
what you see. You might just want to see more. Or, you might just want to try making one of these videos. After all, these videos have to come from somewhere, don't they? Growing up, no one had ever believed in me. But I knew it was out there. Watching. Lurking. I could feel its eyes rest upon me like weights as I took to my daily on-foot adventures, to and from various stores and school. But still, no one ever believed me. They thought since I was a kid, that I was just being irrational.
Crack would make a good foothold. You
They
can
thought
use
I was
crack
hysterical
calling
to
make
believe
your
in
way
such a
out.
far-fetched, outlandish being. Hell, for a good portion of my life, I thought I was crazy too. That was until I had my first encounter with it. Now, this wasn't a spine-tingling occurrence by any means, mainly due to the fact that I only caught a glimpse of it. was a very hot and heavy June day. I was on summer vacation following 7th grade, and my family had decided to go out to eat at one of my favorite restaurants. Warm food at the dinner table was always the way my family had bonded. The drive back was quite the endeavor. The sun had retreated back to its hiding place as the moon arose on the horizon. I lived in a pretty urban part of Ohio, so the night sky wasn't as fascinating as I'd hoped it to be. Alongside this forever lit area, I never really had any experiences with pure darkness. Our neighborhood wasn't really that populated. Only 7 houses, including mine. In the corner of our enclosed community was a concealed, mysterious set of sumac trees. I would get poison sumac on me faster than bees on honey, so it was a place I tried to avoid at all costs. Even though it was only about 10 square acres, it seemed like an abyss to me. As we pulled into my driveway, I saw something twitch out of the corner of my eye at the edge of the woods. Due to my curiosity, I peered over my shoulder into the woods. I had caught the colorless hind end of something slipping back into this void of light.
You gonna extract him?
Being 12, I brushed it off as my imagination and crammed this sight into the back of my mind. 5 years later, I would have my first face-to-face experience with it. My good friend and I had planned a sleepover following his football practice, and since I was a very introverted, socially awkward teenager, I didn't have any extracurricular activities, so my schedule was always pretty free. We planned out our normal routine: video games, food, and scary stories. Up until about 11, we played Xbox and devoured all the greasy, fat-filled food we could find. Then started the climactic part of our night. We shared tales that had been passed through our family about bizarre experiences. He would attempt to shock me with the time his grandfather had lost his hand at a steel mill. I fired back with the supernatural stories my great aunt would share with me while she was an anesthesiologist, and some of her experiences dealing with patients in medical asylum. One thing led to another, and a fight broke out due to our hormone-ridden minds. I knew it'd be best if I just left, to avoid causing any more trouble. I only lived about 5 minutes away, walking distance from his house, but it was still a nerve-wracking, blood-curdling incident for me, mainly due to my wandering mind and ever-so-expanding imagination. However, I wanted to prove to my friend that I was just as tough as he was, so I slipped on my shoes and headed out. Taking the back roads and cutting through the woods was the optimal choice, mainly to avoid any authoritative figures finding me, because my head would be served on a silver platter to my parents if I was caught out past curfew. The fog felt heavy on my shoulders as the chilly winter breeze was blowing through my hair. Since I thought I was going to be at my friend's house all night, I didn't adequately prepare for this Arctic adventure. I felt like hypothermia was beginning to set in, so I decided to start a slow jog back to my house, down this pothole-filled road and cut through the woods. At about the halfway mark through my jog, my paranoia kicked into overdrive. I kept doubling over my shoulders to make sure I wasn't being followed. Now, I don't know if it was my imagination creating the noises, but I heard the subtle sound of twigs snapping and cracking behind me.
That's the target. Looks like we found him.
The noise kept going on and on. And it wasn't until this moment that I had noticed the sound wasn't getting any quieter, but closer. This just fueled my adrenaline more, and I ran like the wind. As I escaped the chasm of darkness, I checked behind me once more, just to be safe.
Target secured. I'll tell the client we sent the target to a place outside of heaven. Boss, your objective's complete. Exfiltrate out of the hot zone by chopper or on land. Don't hang
That
around.
twitching, convulsing, grotesque creature creeping towards me. I was in a state of shock, frozen in fear.
You gotta extract him.
The creature had abnormally long, contorted
Destroyed their
extremities,
anti-air radar? It wasn't
looking
one of
like
the
they had been
targets.
cracked and
That's the
snapped
hole
more
in
than
that
anyone
air
could count.
surveillance. The chopper will be able to get in close
What
now.
froze me in
You can
place
designate a landing
was
zone
its
near the
skin.
outpost.
Completely pigmentless. It stood out from the dark woods in extreme contrast. Then I saw its teeth, shattered but still appeared as sharp as a chef's knife. It drooled like a leaky faucet, and the drool continued to run down its body. No matter how scared and horrified I looked, the creature continued to wobble towards me with that broken, jagged smile. As my mind finally reconnected with my body, I began to run as I heard this thing attempting to run after me. Its breathing extremely labored and raspy, frightening me even more. The run to my house felt like an eon, and once I stepped foot on my property, I turned back and slammed the door shut. It didn't occur to me at first that I hadn't even checked to see if the thing was still following me or not. But at this point, I simply prayed for the latter. Then it
The
hit me.
enemy's given up their search for you.
I had to call my friend and tell
They're
him
not
what just
giving you all
happened to me.
clear just yet.
Fumbling through my
Stay
phone
alert.
and dialing at the speed of light, he picked up the phone on the second ring and answered with an undertone of attitude. He was still mad at me, but at this point I didn't care. I had to explain to someone what just happened. Would he even believe me? No. I sounded like a psychopath, but nonetheless, I had to get this off my chest. Contrary to my popular belief, he was intrigued and asked me to come over so we could search for the creature. And I thought I was the crazy one. I was still filled with paranoia after the whole ordeal, so I immediately declined his offer. I sprinted upstairs, diving into my bed like a scared child. I just wanted this day to be over. I hadn't noticed how exhausted this whole ordeal had made me. And as the darkness slowly began to consume my vision, I was out like a light. To this day, I've never had another encounter with this being. But I've refused any offer to go back into the woods since. I've moved to the bigger city to avoid the pure darkness of my childhood. And even though this has mainly blocked out the problem, it hasn't completely fixed it. Night terrors are one of my most challenging situations as of now. But I think I can push through. The worst part is that feeling. Because to this day,
Arriving shortly at
no matter how many shrinks may tell me it's not true, I know it's still out there. Watching. Lurking.
This is P-Quad. There's an obstruction at the LZ preventing me from landing. Request immediate removal. This is P-Quad. There's an obstruction at the LZ This is P-Quad. There's an obstruction at the LZ preventing me from landing. Request immediate removal.
complete. Great work.
Before this year, I'm very curious, because the past few weeks, been some serious problems at home, and it seemed that I was the only one who knew what to do. I didn't want to do it. I knew it was wrong, but I had to. I just had to. My big brother Derek is at the hospital right now, sick as a dog. Nobody's quite sure if he'll live. But at least I know that I have some private time in a safe place where he can never pick on me again. Last time he did was on a snowy day. I begged and begged him to stop jumping up and down on my snowman, and to top it off, he swept the carrot out of my hand and jammed it into his mouth. He said he was just trying to get my attention because he found something amazing deep in the woods. Something beyond my wildest imagination. Curiosity followed me back to the woods. Giant trees and their long leafless branches that seemed to imitate reaching arms. The journey seemed to take hours.
How you feeling, boss? Getting used to being in the field again? Having choppers and horse at your disposal is indispensable for operating in the wilds of Afghanistan. I've gone ahead and arranged for you to be able to develop and customize weaponry for support choppers. And you can also develop new equipment for D-Horse if you like. Use your iDroid to start development as needed.
Derek directed me to the route. He said he could grant wishes. And he could tell because when he first visited the area, he wished he knew the way back home. And when he first saw this route emerge from the ground, he happened to know the way. It was like magic, he said. I squinted as I took a closer look at this thing, studying it. I thought maybe if we could pull it out, we'll keep it as a good luck charm. Derek told me he already tried that and it stuck there, but that didn't stop me. We both grabbed onto it, and with all of our strength, it popped out, along with a loud, sickening snap. The force nearly threw us on our backs, but the magic root was ours now. I held it tight in my hands and wished we knew the way back home. And just like Derek said, we did. I couldn't get over the worried expression from Mom, wondering where we were, but I thought for the first time it was one.
By connecting your iDroid to the onboard computer, you turn the chopper into your own Aerial Command Center, or ACC. Some elements of staff assignment and R&D of weapons and items can only be performed from there. Take as long as you need to consider all your options.
I was wide awake and ready when the moving and bumping came back from under the bed. I quickly grabbed a flashlight and crouched down to take a look. The magic root was jumping up and down, hitting the bed from beneath as if it were alive. I reached out and took the root by the stump, and the long, skinny ends of it curled up like fingers. I was going to wake up Derek and tell him about this, but before I could ponder anymore, the other end of the root bent down, and the fingers wrapped themselves around my wrist, grabbing me tighter and tighter by the second. The tips dug into my flesh. With intolerable pain, I screamed at the top of my lungs, causing Derek to wake up. My mom me too, because she scrambled into the room with a handgun. She flipped on the light up.
The side ops list is comprised of problems we need you to resolve. Objectives to be completed, and information gained from the soldiers and prisoners you've extracted. These aren't missions per se, but if you can take care of them when you're free, I'd appreciate it.
Yo guys, subscribe to me, you know, watch me, do whatever. I broadcast every day at certain points, not like all day long, but you know, I play different games. I play GTA, I play Black Ops 3, Star Wars, you know, any of those things. You want me to do any of those things, just, you know, let me know.
That wild dog pup. He's a tough little guy. Boss, this is no time to be playing with animals. What are you gonna do, boss? Roger that. We'll pick him up. Yeah. There's an English-speaking soldier somewhere in the region. He's a language specialist. His role is to translate information related to the West into Russian. If we can get him to join us, we'll have the upper hand in information war. That's the target. Yeah.
Да, я всегда читаю газеты и журналы с той стороны. Что это? Какого? Что происходит? Посмотри!
To the domestic carrot. It's also a favorite of wild animals. Roger.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Scrambled upstairs. I get your mom calling me to come back down and apologize.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Say, boss, you see many animals in the field. Truth is, an environmental NGO has asked us to remove wild animals from combat zones. If you have the time, can you extract some back here? There's a reward in it for us.
This is Pequod. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is Pequod. On station at LZ. Gaining altitude. Departing.
With empty eye sockets and cold.
Prolonged time in the field is bad for the body and mind. I think it's time you took a break. Do it for me. Come back to Mother Base ASAP.
I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. In horror, I just stared straight ahead, watching as that sorcerer raised his other arm, revealing a cracked stump where a hand used to be. He used his other hand to point to the stump. This time he screamed, "Where is
Didi, come back! Mixed.
Here's the dog you brought back. Bit of a troublemaker. Not sure about the breed, though.
He'll get bigger?
Uh-huh. Like this. You know, I can look after him. He's still a pup, so he doesn't listen. I have a feeling someday he'll be useful. I suspect you discovered a real diamond in the rough. With a little polish, I'd say we got a true diamond dog on our hands.
Didi, right. Hustler raising hounds. Fine.
Come on, Didi.
Roger.
This is Pequod. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is Pequod. On station at LZ.
well, guys, subscribe to me. Yeah. Subscribe to me and all that, guys. I'm probably gonna get off here in a second. I should be back on around 11 or 12. So yeah, look for me around that time. I should be on. But you need help with any games I got, I should be able to help you. But anything else, yeah. Look for me around 11 or 12. I might be playing Batman by then if I get it downloaded, but see you guys at that time. Peace.